Good afternoon, everybody. This is Holloway for November 27th for Alaska statewide weather. We have a couple options for you to help further refine your weather search or to look in the watches and warnings and advisories a little bit closer. A 1-800 number and a webpage, weather.gov/Alaska, and you can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter for some of that information. Lastly, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at the email listed at the bottom of the page. Let's go through the watch warnings and advisories out. We do have a high wind watch out for Unalaska area effective until 6 p.m. this evening for the eastern Aleutians. We also have a winter storm warning out for this evening for the western Susitna Valley, and that is until 6 p.m. We also have a winter weather advisory out for the western Kenai Peninsula, and that is again until 6 p.m. this evening. We also have a couple watches out for the Panhandle. Let's start from the top. Winter storm watch out from Saturday morning through Saturday evening for the northeast corner of the Panhandle. And we also have a high wind watch out for Saturday morning through Saturday afternoon, and that's for much of those highlighted yellow areas in the Panhandle. And it's going to be very windy down there over the next, especially starting on Saturday. So Saturday into Saturday night. So let's take a look at the satellite information. You see a couple very easy to pick out the low pressure systems. One in the Gulf, a couple in the Aleutians/Bering Sea, southern Bering Sea, and the precipitation associated with that with scattered snow showers, snow and rain mixed through the Aleutians, and even some snow showers down through the west coast, and some snow showers likely in the Alaska range. And we've seen here in the Anchorage Bowl some snow showers this morning. Totals up on the hillside about 4 inches. Also some rain and light rain approaching the Panhandle as well, and possibly a little bit of snow showers along the north slope there. So what does this look like on the surface map? Today's weather for today is a 964 millibar low climbing the chain. Occluded front out ahead of that system. Mixed precipitation, snow showers, rain showers, moderate at times. We also have some snow showers down to the west coast, some fog in there as well, and around a spinning trough around the main low pressure system, some snow showers across the Alaska range, another low there, 988 millibar low, and a trough approaching the Panhandle, some snow showers and some light rain showers there, and some snow showers across the Brooks range. For tonight's weather, that low makes it into the Gulf region, just on the south side of the Alaska Peninsula, 965 millibar low. Weakening occluded front out ahead of that system. Snow showers out along the Gulf Coast and into the Panhandle. Rain showers mainly in the southern side of the mainland and the southern end of the Alaska Peninsula. Otherwise, some light snow showers across the mainland and along the north slope. For Saturday's weather, that low just east of Kodiak Island, 970 millibar low now. Moderate to heavy rain approaching the lower elevations of the Panhandle along the coastal mountains, snow showers, and that extends up into Prince William Sound region. Chugach Mountains, Kenai Mountains, likely to get some snow showers there. Probably look for some advisories or watches out for that on Saturday for the Prince William Sound region. Also some light snow showers down through Bristol Bay and down through the Bering Sea. Another weakening low over the Aleutians, 996 millibar low. Otherwise some fog across the interior and light snow showers across the no slope. And for Sunday's weather, next system approaches the Aleutian, moderate to heavy rain, snow, you name it, mixed precipitation, 955 millibar low, occluded front. And this is again for Sunday, snow showers through the Bering, light snow showers through the mainland, another weak low over the mainland, 994 millibar low, and a weakening low, a couple lows in the Gulf region, one near Kenai Peninsula, 985 millibar low there, 1004 millibars just another low just south of the Panhandle, with continued snow showers across much of the Panhandle into the northeast Gulf Coast. So, getting into the temperatures, Saturday morning, AKwx -1, Prudhoe Bay -2, Utqiagvik 0, 8 at Point Hope, -9 in AKwx Pass. I'm sorry, -5 in AKwx Pass, Arctic Village -9, -7 in Fort Yukon, -4 at Eagle, -21 looks like the low for the state at Northway, and then Fairbanks -7, 8 at Nome, 14 at Bethel, 20s as you get towards the southwest coast with Dillingham 23, King Salmon 24, Kodiak 34, 30s down through the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians, Shimia 33, St. Paul 30, Savunga 24, 37 in Cordova, 36 in Yakutat, 29 in Haines, 32 in Juneau, 34 in Ketchikan. For Saturday afternoon, looks like AKwx pops up to 7. Nome is now 4, 17 at Point Hope, 4 at Anaktuvik, 1 at Anaktuvik Back, Arctic Village 4, Fort Yukon down to 0, or up to 0, and then 10 at Eagle, -2 at Northway, 8 at Fairbanks, and McKinley Village there, 17, 27 in Talkeetna, 28 in Anchorage, McGrath 8, Anayak 17, 20 through Bethel, 20s down through the southwest coast, 27 in Dillingham, 30 in King Salmon, 30s, maybe a few 40s, then the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians, with St. Paul 36, Savunga 30, Kodiak 39, 38 Yakutat, 35 in Haines, 37 in Juneau, 42 in Ketchikan, 42 in Sitka. Then by Sunday morning, -2 at AKwx and -4 at Prudhoe Bay region, Utqiagvik 0, Point Hope 13, -7 at Adigan Pass, Adigan, and then -8 at Anaktuvik Pass, and then -10 at Fort Yukon. It'll be close between Bettles and Northway to get the low temperature for the overnight low. -13 at Bettles, -14 in Northway, -3 in Fairbanks, -10 in Galena, -5 at McGrath, 8 at Bethel, 11 in Dillingham, 9 in King Salmon, 31 in Kodiak, and 20s and 30s down through Alaska Peninsula, and 28 Cold Bay, Dutch Harbor 32, St. Paul 29, Savunga 25, and then we get over into the Gulf region, Seward 28, 38 Cordova, Yakutat 34, 29 Haines, 37 in Juneau, 41 in Ketchikan, 38 Sitka. Sunday afternoon, 6 at AKwx, 6 at Utqiagvik, 20 at Point Hope, 2 at Fort Yukon, 9 at Eagle, 0 at Northway, 4 at Fort Fairbanks, McGrath 3, 14 at Bethel, Dillingham 18, 17 in King Salmon, 30s through the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians, 34 in St. Paul, 30 at Savunga, and then 42 at Cordova, 38 Yakutat, 36 in Haines, 37 in Juneau, 41 in Sitka, 44 in Ketchikan. Taking a look at the climate outlook for the 8 to 14 day, which is basically from December 5th through the 11th, looking at above normal tilts across much of the mainland, near normal conditions down through the southwest and Alaska Peninsula. And Juneau and the Panhandle will see some pretty good tilts for above normal temperatures there. And just looking at the 8 to 14 precipitation trend ending December 11th, basically December 5th through the 11th, we're going to be seeing the probability of above normal precipitation across much of the eastern half of the mainland, and that extends down into the Panhandle with near normal conditions across much of the west, with drier tilts towards the YK Delta, and that normal conditions down through the Alaska Peninsula and then maybe even to the Aleutians.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the flying weather for Saturday morning, continued IFR conditions along the north slope there. We'll continue to see that with weak onshore flow up there. That will continue for a couple days, and we'll see some marginal conditions along much of the southwest over the next 2 days. And that's in association with a low kind of moving across the Gulf and bringing some northerly winds across that region. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to be seeing a low coming across the Aleutians into the Gulf, and you'll see the IFR conditions associated with that. But IFR conditions across the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians, portions of the Bering, and some decent flying weather it looks like across the Panhandle, but that will change here shortly. With Saturday afternoon, IFR conditions across the Panhandle and into the northern Gulf as the Gulf low moves in, and an occluded front associated with that system. Otherwise, IFR conditions across Bristol Bay region and portions of the Aleutians. For Sunday, continued IFR conditions along the north slope and a little bit less IFR conditions across the Panhandle into the northern Gulf, but also continue IFR conditions across Kodiak Island into Bristol Bay. Otherwise, we'll be seeing the next system coming into the Aleutians out there with IFR conditions out there. And then for Sunday afternoon, like we talked about, the next system comes into the Aleutians, IFR conditions across that region, and some limited IFR conditions across the North Gulf and into the Copper River Basin. Otherwise, some marginal conditions showing across the Panhandle and into the Gulf region, and marginal conditions across much of the mainland. Pass conditions on Saturday, Anaktuvik Pass marginal, but IFR conditions along the north slope. Same for Adigan. Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal, but I did put in some IFR conditions on the east entrance there. And kind of the same scenario there at Rainy. IFR conditions, especially on the east entrance, otherwise marginal conditions through the pass. Windy, marginal. And as you get out towards the eastern end of the Alaska Range, we'll see some VFR conditions, Isabel and Mentasta VFR as well. And Tanita, marginal conditions, but I did put in some IFR conditions on the east entrance. Portage, IFR throughout. And Chilkoot, marginal conditions possible early, and then IFR conditions during the afternoon. Freezing levels for Saturday morning. Surface freezing level cuts across the Panhandle, across the southern end of the mainland, and down through the Alaska Peninsula and out through the Bering Sea. And icing for Saturday between 5 and 10,000 feet as that system comes in there to the Panhandle. Some considerable moderate possibilities into Canada and the coastal range out there and into the northern Panhandle. Otherwise, between 3 and 7,000 feet in Bristol Bay region, down through the Alaska Peninsula and portions of the Aleutians. Otherwise, some areas around 5,000 feet there on the north slope. Jet stream on Saturday. Low pressure system in the Bristol Bay region, eastern Bering Sea. We'll see some strong southerly, southwesterly winds coming into the Panhandle. 105, 100 knot winds there. Otherwise, some light and variable conditions at jet stream level again across much of the mainland. And 160 knot winds, 160 knot jet out there just south of the Aleutians associated with the next system coming in. And for 9,000 foot winds, that low pressure system now analyzed over Cook Inlet region. Southerly winds coming into the Panhandle, North Gulf Coast, 65 knots there. 45 to 50 across much of the Panhandle, and around counterclockwise flow, northerly winds across the Alaska Peninsula and into the eastern Bering. Otherwise, northerly flow continues across much of the Aleutians. And 3,000 foot winds, low pressure system at the 3,000 foot level near Cook Inlet region again. Southerly winds coming into the northern Gulf and Panhandle area, 65 to 70 knots there. Counterclockwise flow across much of the mainland, and northerly flow down through the west coast and into the Bristol Bay region. Otherwise, northerly winds out there in the Aleutians as well, 65 knots out there. And for turbulence on Saturday, below 6,000 feet across much of the North Gulf, and below 4,000 feet across the Panhandle with isolated spheric possibilities, and that also extends well over in the Aleutians below 3.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of Alaska Weather Facts. I'm meteorologist Dave Snyder, and joining us today is Eric Stevens from GINA, the Geographic Information Network of Alaska at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Thank you for joining us, Eric.
My pleasure, Dave.
Thank you. And you're joining us here to talk a little bit more about satellites and how satellites work, and especially one neat feature that's working over Alaska right now. What is that?
Well, there's a lot of weather satellites and a lot of instruments on these satellites, and there are new generations going up and new instruments. This includes something called the day-night band, which is not a cover band at the local bar, but it's a new satellite that is very useful, especially here in Alaska, especially in the winter.
In the wintertime, yeah, that makes it a little bit hard to use some of the normal tools that we associate with weather satellite imagery.
Right. You know, one of the classic weather satellite instruments is just visible light. What would the human eye see if you were riding on a weather satellite yourself and looked down and it was black and white? You'd see the clouds reflecting the sunlight. And we've got an example from the Pacific Ocean. There's a geostationary satellite, and we can see that the eastern side of the image is in daylight. The western side, it's night over there, so you don't see anything because there's no sunlight over there. And visible imagery, it's very intuitive. You see the clouds just like you see them standing on the ground, but now you're a satellite seeing them from above. But the problem is, what about the night side of the planet? How do you track the storms? How do you know where the rain is, the snow, the weather, if you can't see the clouds? And that's why, just like a television can change from one channel to another, or a radio can change stations, satellites can change the frequency of the electromagnetic spectrum that they're looking at. We can go to infrared instead of visible light. You know, it's heat energy. You can see heat, and we've got another satellite picture from the same time, same satellite, out over the Pacific Ocean. That's the infrared side, and we're seeing temperature there. And even at night, when there's no light, everything still has a temperature.
So we're sensing something with a thermometer instead of perhaps the visible side of that, is what you're saying?
That's right. On this depiction, colder features are lighter shades, warmer features are dark. And so clouds tend to be colder than the ground. Clouds are higher in the atmosphere, it's cooler. And so that very same image on the western or the left-hand side of the globe, now we can see the clouds there, even though it's nighttime, because we're seeing the temperatures. And one nice feature is that tropical storm there, just in the middle of the northern hemisphere there, hurricane or typhoon, depending on...
That's that swirly part that we see in the middle of the image?
There you go. You can even see the eye on it there, especially in the infrared image. So we've got two kinds of imagery there from the same satellite, different instruments, you know, different channels like on a television, visible and infrared. You know, it turns out there's no one magic tool. Each has its strengths, each has its flaws, weaknesses. The visible is nice, it's intuitive, it's easier to understand, but doesn't work at night. Infrared is nice, it works at night, you can see temperatures, but there is a catch. What if your clouds and the nearby bare ground or open water, what if those were about the same temperature?
Oh, that's going to be hard to figure out what's going on.
If you can only see temperature and you have two features that are the same temperature, they will look the same. You won't be able to tell. They're camouflaged. This happens, especially, it can happen around Alaska, especially over the ocean when you have low clouds that are the same temperature as the open water.
That happens quite a bit in Alaska.
We have an example. Now, this is from a different geostationary satellite. It's down over the Atlantic Ocean. Look in the South Atlantic. In infrared, we've highlighted in a yellow circle there. There's some patches of clouds, but it looks like there's a clear area in the middle of that image. That's the infrared look. But let's take a look at the visible channel, and we can see there's a stripe of clouds across the middle of that circle that is only visible in the visible. The trick here is that those are low clouds of about the same temperature as the surrounding ocean. So from an infrared point of view, where you're seeing temperature, the clouds in the water nearby are the same temperature, they look the same. It's only on the visible that you can see what stands out as the actual imagery. Two tools, each have their strengths and weaknesses. Can we combine them? That's where the day-night band comes in. It's a super sensitive visible sensor that can actually see by moonlight. It can even see the aurora. And in Alaska, we have long winter nights. We can use that day-night band. Here's an example from that storm that blew the Kullik drilling platform ashore near Kodiak Island in December back in 2012. This image is right near when that storm happened, and it's in the middle of the night in December.
But this looks like visible imagery.
Looks like daytime imagery. It's amazing. That sensor can take any little bit of moonlight and just make the most of it. We can see so much detail. Even in the northern part of the image there, you can see some aurora up there. The northern lights
That's that band that goes across the Arctic slope?
You got it. That's the northern lights. We're seeing black and white image here, so you don't get the green or the purple colors there. But that is the aurora. There's another example of the day-night band, and this is from January of 2013. It's about 4 in the morning, and this is a snapshot from Weather Service software. And we can even see in the middle of the image, there's the lights of Fairbanks and North Pole over to Eielson Air Force Base. Anchorage and Matsu lights, city lights, are evident as well. We can see, even though it's 4 in the morning in January, there is no sunlight to be had, that just enough moonlight is available that this sensor can see that. So we're trying to solve that puzzle where visible light is good, but only during the daytime. IR is good at night, but you can't see the difference between clouds and ground sometime. The day-night band is an attempt to do the best of both with one tool. And it's brand new for Alaska here, and we're hoping to use it in the forecast process and help predict storms, weather patterns, to help get good forecast for people.
Okay, another tool in the weather toolkit for meteorologists in Alaska and researchers worldwide. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us today. And you can learn more about GINA and the day-night band by going to the web address that you see on your screen. For Alaska Weather Facts, I'm meteorologist Dave Snyder.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the marine forecast, starting with the ice edge, you can see that ice concentrations are closing in there along the northwest coast, Kotzebue Sound, Norton Sound, down through the southwest coast, Bristol Bay region, and even in the Cook Inlet. And Chukchi Sea will be closing in here over the next couple days with the forecast for northerly flow, cool northerly flow over the region. Saturday's marine forecast for southeast, inside waters, winds strength from the southeast, 30 to 40 with seas as high as 11 feet. Gust of 55 there in the Stevens Passage area. So I'll look for gale or storm force winds there. Outside waters, winds generally from the southerly direction, 40 to 55 with gusts of 65. So look for storm or even possibly hurricane force winds there. And that will come down on Sunday. Inside waters, winds generally from the southeast at 15, seas as high as 12 feet. And then for the outside waters, winds from the southwest at 20 to 30 with seas as high as 24 feet. For south central Gulf region, winds generally from the southeast at 20, seas as high as 15. Prince William Sound, winds generally from the southeast at 45, seas as high as 12 feet. For the Cook Inlet, winds generally from the east at 30, seas as high as 8 feet. And for Sunday, Gulf region, winds generally from a variable direction, 30, seas as high as 19 feet. Prince William Sound, winds generally from the southeast at 20, seas as high as 4 feet. And for Cook Inlet, winds generally from the west at 10 to 30 with seas as high as 8 feet near Kamishak Bay region. Kenai, Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island. Around Kodiak Island, winds generally from the west at 25 to 40 with seas as high as 21 feet. South side of the peninsula, winds generally from the northwest at 40 with seas as high as 22 feet. North side of the peninsula, winds generally from a northerly direction, 30 to 35 with seas as high as 14 feet. And for Sunday, around Kodiak Island, winds generally from the west at 25 to 35 with seas as high as 17 feet. Just east and southeast of Kodiak up to 17 feet. And south side of the peninsula, winds generally from the west at 30, seas as high as 11 feet. And for the north side of the peninsula, winds generally from the northwest at 25, seas as high as 11 feet. For Aleutian Chain, winds generally from the west at 25 to 45 with seas as high as 20 feet just south of Adak and Atka. And for Sunday, look for storm force winds there over on the western end of the Aleutians. Winds generally from a easterly or northeasterly direction to 50, seas as high as 24 to 25 feet. And for the west coast, winds strength from the north, 20 to 35, with seas as high as 12 feet near the Pribs. And for Sunday, winds generally continue out of the north, 20 to 30, with seas as high as 10 feet just south of St. Lawrence Island. And for the Arctic coast, winds just off the Arctic coast in the Arctic Ocean there, winds generally from the east or northeast at 15s. And for the northwest coast, winds generally from the northeast at 20 to 30, with seas as high as 9 feet. And down through the Bering Strait, winds from the north at 35, seas as high as 11 feet. So look for gale force winds there. And for Sunday, just off the Arctic coast there, winds generally continue out of the east or northeast at 10 to 15. Northwest coast, winds generally from the east at 10 to 15, seas as high as 7 feet. And down through the Bering Strait, winds continue out of the north at 30, seas as high as 10 feet. For tonight's weather, looking at a 965 millibar low crossing from the Aleutian Chains into the Gulf with a weakening includer front. Mixed precipitation, snow showers, rain showers, moderate at times, especially along the North Gulf Coast. Lingering snow showers across the Panhandle and across the interior. And another low, 990 millibar low near just north of Aleutians. And for Saturday's weather, 970 millibar low now in the Gulf with that continued includer front. Moderate to heavy rain showing up in the lower elevations of the Panhandle. Snow showers further inland along the coastal mountains, the northeast Gulf Coast, and down through the Prince William Sound region. Also some lingering snow showers through the southwest and into the Bering Sea and Alaska Peninsula.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.